Did there come a day where Brecht called you about Laughton and his behavior during the play?
Are the police present? Now, I want you all, because you're a little young for this kind of story. I think the audience maybe should, well...
Mature audience.
Should I tell it?
I think you should. I think you should. This is a mature audience. This is
Yes.
Palm Springs.
Make believe you didn't hear it.
Name.
Charles Laughton, when he was rehearsing this play, in the opening scene, this is Galileo, he's at a basin with the water and he removes his shirt and he's in what would be called athletic trousers, or nondescript pants. Charles reveled in this scene, washing himself. Later on in the course of the play, he put on a robe, which was the exact model of Leonardo da Vinci's robe that you see in pictures. But before we got to that scene, he was washing with these trousers. So that's that. Now, Charles had not been on the stage for 13 years. One of the great actors of our time, absolute. He had genius. He was wonderful. But not having been on the stage for 13 years, he was nervous. And in the course of the week's dress rehearsals, his nervousness manifested itself by his thrusting his left hand into his left trousers pocket and manipulating you all anticipate me. Well, at rehearsal, this was a source of great interest on all our parts. We wondered where this was going, or coming. You're all too young for this. Your parents are right there for that. So, through one or two or three or four rehearsals, we watched this with fascination. How were we going to deal with this? At that time, I was working with Milestone on a picture called The Red Pony. It was made out at Agora, and it was very hot, 100 degrees, so on. And I came in one day, came home to have a little light food before I went down to the theater for rehearsal, when the phone rang. I pick it up. Hello, Norman. Yes, Brecht here. Yes, Brecht. I wish to speak to you about Charles playing with himself. Now here I am on the phone with a man who is being compared not to being great as Shakespeare, but one of the major figures after Shakespeare in the history of the theater, Bertolt Brecht. And he wants to talk about Charles playing with himself. Now, this is not the level of, shall we say, discussion, which I anticipated from Brecht. I said, oh, well, yes, Brecht, what is it? He said, well, you have to talk to him to tell him to stop. I said, Brecht, I will not do it. You should do it. You've been working with him on the play. He said, I will not do it. I said, well, then talk to Joe Losey. He's directing the play. Joe Losey refuses to do it. I said, well, I'm not going to do it. He said, you will see. The sheriff will come in and close your play. I said, we'll have to take that chance. One moment, please. Another voice comes on. It's Helly Brecht, one of the world's greatest actresses, a great actress, with a voice like a kettle drum, went to the center of the earth. She was about 5 feet tall, if that. He wrote Mother Courage for her, but she couldn't be in this play because she had a thick German accent. She gets on the phone. Norman. Yes, Helly. I knew her and loved her. She was wonderful. Norman, listen to Brecht. I said, Helly, I love you. I love Bertolt Brecht, but I am not going to talk to Charles about this. She says, very well. Goodbye. Hangs up. The next day, at about 11 o'clock, when rehearsal was called, there was a little girl, like 20 years old or something, who assisted Helly Brecht with the costumes. Helly, not being able to act because of the language problem, was helping with the costumes. And this girl assisted her. And she was seen running from one corner of the stage, across the stage and out the exit and screaming. And Charles galumphing at her, Charles Laughton, galumphing after her. Who sewed up the pockets of my trousers? He never read a line in Shakespeare that well. And you know, he read some beautiful lines. He was glorious. He caught the girl. How he ever did, I don't know, she must have gotten trapped somewhere. Grabbed her and made her get a little razor and cut every stitch of that pocket and opened it up again. And so he resumed with his activities. The play turned out to be a great hit in Los Angeles. It had it's actually one of the important plays of the 20th century. Now, the speculation was, who sewed up the pockets of those trousers? And I'm sure you're all ahead of me. Helly Brecht. Mrs. Brecht. Now, she never confessed. We never caught her red-handed, but we figured it out. She was the only one that could have. That little girl couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And so, you see, the theater has many adventures in it besides a high intellectual quality.
That is tremendous. What a story. That's tremendous.